Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode. There was fear running up her back and giving her a chill. She could feel her energy telling her legs to move and telling her to run the other way. The dark figure coming out of the darkness was like something out of a nightmare. She couldn't believe it was real. He moved in the same direction as her when she moved away, getting closer to her. In this case, she knew it was not good for her. It was the only place she could find work, even though she knew it was a bad part of town. It wasn't even a great salary, but it was the only job she could find. There were only two things in her flat that made her feel safe. Last line of defense is a few locked doors and a stronger security gate. But even if all of that failed, she still had Bear, the German Shepherd, who was her loyal friend. Bear used to be a police dog. She was able to adopt him after his service was over thanks to some contacts. No matter what, he would do anything to protect her. He loved his retirement with his new owner. And tonight was definitely something that had to happen. She was always careful in town, especially at night, but her fear and anxiety didn't go away. The owner told her she couldn't wait until morning because rent was due tonight. So she had to get some cash from an ATM. She brought her trusty dog with her because it could see better than her in the dark places. Then, the first problem came out of the corner. A group of guys were sitting on a stoop. They were loud and obviously drunk. It's likely that the loud music kept everyone in the block awake. All of them were in good shape and probably carried weapons. Sandra felt a fearful feeling rise in her throat again. They saw her after her body was screaming for her to run away. Then they said some gross things that any dad would want to punch out the lights. As she tried to get past them, they kept calling her names because she was afraid they would get up. The chills kept coming back when she thought about some stories she had heard before. It seemed like the best thing to do was speed up and leave the noisy guys behind. It made her feel a little better after walking for 2 more blocks, but she knew she wasn't out of the woods yet. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw something scary. At first, it looked like a shadow, but when it came into the light, she saw that it was a guy. Bear seemed to be looking at him very closely. Was it one of the guys from the door? Sandra's heart rate went up, and her legs started to shake. The corner gestation was where the ATM was, so she had to get there. She had to act quickly. The man in the hood seemed to be walking toward her as she got to the keypad before he did. She could feel her stomach getting tight with worry. She knew what to do. It was too dangerous for her because the man walked right up to the gas station door. She was thinking about what she needed to do next. It wasn't too far away for her to smell his cologne and smoking jacket. What happened next was a reaction on her part. One word she spoke saved her life. Bear still had some of the skills he learned as a police officer. Protect was the only word she said. This turned Bear from a friendly dog into an attack dog. He faced the tall, scary man head on and showed off his big teeth. The man jumped back in shock as the light hit his face. He had been around longer than the guys who were drinking. It looked like he was a worn-out biker. He looked at Sandra, who was scared, and the scary police dog that was ready to bite Sandra at any time. A few more steps back, he put up his hands to show that he was giving up. "I'm sorry, little lady. I didn't mean to scare you." He waved his phone around. "Just got distracted." Even though it wasn't enough to make Bear less scared, some of his fear went away. She yelled, "Don't follow a girl around like that." He gave a nod and then said something strange. He agreed and said sorry. He was only there to use the same ATM. There were times when it was too easy to forget that not everyone felt safe. He said that if his girls lived in a place like this, he would never be able to sleep. Sandra quickly put in her PIN and took out the rent. Then he took out a business card. It turned out that the guy fixed bikes. That was a nice offer, but she politely turned it down. But something inside her told her to keep the card and his other offer to call if she ever needed help. You could be wrong. It was scary for her to walk back to her bad apartment, so she looked down at Bear. He was back on quiet alert. He was her brown and black, ragged friend who would do anything to protect her. He loved her. She scratched him behind the ears and pulled out one of his favorite treats. He licked her back. He was so lucky for her to have him. That's it for today, friends. Please let us know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon for more amazing stories.